Good morning. Today is Monday, March 21st, 2022. And to begin, let's go over some futures. So in the index futures last night, looked like they all pretty much dipped and are now making their way back up to break even on the session. Let's see. Currencies lower, kind of mixed. Euro's been chopping. Had a big bounce in 6B off the lows this morning, now in positive territory on the day. And metals, let's see. Gold, after being up and chopping around, is coming back down to break even on the day. Overall, metals are higher on the session except for copper futures, so they're down 0.5% so far. Alright, energies, crude oil is up 3.82%. Heating oil 4.25%. RBOB is up as well, and natural gas is lower. Corn and wheat were hitting new session highs a bunch this morning, to say the least. I got several alerts on new highs. All grains up this morning. Treasury yield futures are down. Yields are climbing today, so Treasury yield futures are down. And here we should be able to see all the CME micro Treasury yield futures are up. So that could be weighing on asset prices currently. And yeah, so that's it for this morning. Let's go over and check some charts out. All right, got NQ right here, hourly time frame. Looks like we may hit a double top as we open. We'll have to see. We open in 2.5 minutes. And then I was also checking out crude this morning. We're still up near the session highs on the day, which also is right around here, this resistance area. So if we can pop current session high, we have the ability for crude to get back up to 113. The door is open, to say the least. There is a little bit of resistance around 109.50 ish. So those are the few levels that I'm watching on crude today. Let's flip back over to the hour. I could see a dip happening here. As we open, I could see price coming back down to the 9 EMA, or 21 EMA, I'm sorry, or the prior session high right here at 104.67. So this could be some dip opportunities right here before we break to the upside. And yeah, that's all I've really looked at this morning. Been really busy working on other projects, so I haven't been too tuned in to the charts this morning. Bookmap, NASDAQ, looking kind of boring this morning in my opinion. I really haven't seen too much action up here. We'll see when markets open here in 50 seconds how it opens. I'll probably be watching crude more to trade today, because the NASDAQ just has not been doing it for me lately. If you saw my video this past Friday, I got burned I think twice in a row on NASDAQ, and then I had 2 small profits, and then I had a decent profit on crude oil futures, which helped me make it to break even on the day. So we'll see about NASDAQ. Kind of going to put that on the back burner. So I'll mainly be watching crude on my chart, but I'll still have Bookmap opened up here to the micro NASDAQ futures. And markets opened about 6 seconds ago. You can see movement starting to come in here. I'll be drinking water and coffee throughout the stream this morning, so forgive me if you hear any of my water drinking noises or coffee sipping noises. Alright, right here on NASDAQ we had some liquidity pop up. It's really still just ranging. Got liquidity to the top here, but we're just chopping, really. Nothing to really get excited for right now. Looking at crude oil right now, and it's kind of not really doing much since open. Here you can see a 10-second chart. So it's sold off a little bit since open, but really not doing too much. Still just hanging around here on the 5-minute. Back up here to Bookmap. Liquidity acted as resistance on micro NASDAQ futures. Seeing a lot of liquidity to the upside. Could be getting ready to penetrate that area. Alright, well there's pretty much nothing happening in crude oil right now, so I guess I'll flip over to micro NASDAQ just to see what I can see. I'm going to check out the 30-minute chart. We got session open at 14,404.50, so that could be an area of interest. We could get a small rejection there perhaps. This looks good. Liquidity above looks good. I'd like there to be a little bit more. Just the way the NASDAQ has been treating me lately. I want extra I don't know what's the word, conviction. I want to have extra conviction in the trade. I want to be really convinced that the trade is going to work out, because NASDAQ's just been kind of been fucking with me a little bit recently, so I'm going to be a little bit patient on that. Crude still not doing much of anything. Looks like we're getting a little bounce. We got several Fed speakers today. Let's see. I know J-Pal is speaking today. We had another Fed member speak this morning. Let's see. Was it Bostic? Yeah, Bostic spoke this morning. We got Jerome Powell speaking today, 12 o'clock noon Eastern time, I believe. Overhead resistance there at 14.4. Really just ranging. You can really see here, really just ranging around here since open. Crude getting a bounce. We're at 107.49 right now, so that's bouncing just a little bit. Let's take a long here. Don't like it. We're getting some push down. Real hesitant on NASDAQ right now. Looks like I'd be sitting pretty if I would have held it open, but I closed prematurely. That's fine. Here you can see we closed right at the current session's open, so I don't know how I really like that. That's not telling me strong, it's not telling me weak. It's kind of a neutral close, I think, though we had this big bullish candle. Real strength to me would have been closing up here at the highs above the current session open. But yeah, I'd be sitting pretty. Look at that. Let's see. I got in here, closed here, basically break even, overhead resistance right there, and yeah, would have been an alright one, but I'd rather protect what I have right now when it comes to NASDAQ. Crude oil still sitting around 107.45. NASDAQ getting a little pullback here on this current candle. So we got up to the prior session open like I was looking for, and we rode a little past it and then rejected down, or had a little pullback there. I mean, just got an alert. Dow Jones new session high 34,688. Russell also hitting new session highs, and the ES as well hitting a new session high. So looks like NASDAQ is currently the laggard. Looking up here, a lot of overhead interest there. We got more liquidity up here at 14,450 as well. So if we penetrate this overhead resistance right here at 14,420, I'll be looking for 14,450 as the next target, and liquidity just got taken off here. So far, this 5-minute candle has just been a range. We have a high and a low established, and we're kind of just playing pong in between. Might be getting ready to penetrate. Yep, I think we're gonna go through. Not able to fully get through that area. Liquidity has died down a little bit. Still interest though. Let's see. Crude oil at 107.72. I like that. I'm interested in this. I'm still thinking we might break above this area, but I'm not certain if it's ready yet. So much interest, but it's like we're stalling right there. Important to note here on the candlestick chart, you can see we have swing high right there that's causing a little bit of resistance here. There we go. Nice move to the upside there. That is a new session high on the NASDAQ. Alright, next area of interest for me is going to be right here at 14,441. That blue line is the prior session high. And there we go, we've hit it. Cool. Alright, so I'm not seeing anything else. Just a quick glance here on the daily chart. You can see our next resistance level is up here at 14,500 basically. Looks like still making new highs on the current session. A lot of high volume buying over here. And we're still just taking off. I'd love to get in this, but at this point now, it just kind of feel like I'm chasing. I want to avoid chasing as much as possible, especially with NASDAQ, the way it's been with my strategy lately. Just got the update. Stock indexes turned positive on the session now. Let's see, it looks like Dow Jones is still negative though. Crude oil at 107.80. A little bit of movement, not too much. I don't believe there's really any like economic data releases for today. Nothing of real importance, so might be a slower day. A lot of interest above and below. Obviously this 14.5 level is important. It's a whole number and there's a lot of liquidity there. Seeing more interest to the upside here, more liquidity up to the top, excuse me, than down here. Getting a little pullback. I don't think that's bad. Sitting around 14,450 right now. Liquidity to the downside. Gonna flip over to crude oil real quick. About to be hitting a range high here on crude oil. It's also the current session high. So we got current session high, came close to it, rejected, and now we're trying to push that once again. I think that we could end up pushing this. High volume buying on the 10-second. Getting a pop to the upside on crude. Looks like we tested the current session, no, almost tested current session high. We're testing the range high right now at 108.10. NASDAQ getting a little pullback. We're now sitting at 14,430. Probably a necessary pullback after we rallied rapidly. Crude new session high. want to get in, but I also don't want to chase it either. Perfect time to get in was a few minutes ago when I was talking about it. Lower or seeing liquidity down below price right now on micro NASDAQ. Here's crude. You can see we made a new session high right there. I was talking about it right here around 95 is where it was. That would have been the perfect time to get in. Now I feel like my risk would have to be too high. Where would I have to set my stop, you know? So fair to say I missed out on this trade, but that is okay. There are plenty of trades in the market. I'm not worrying over missing one. NASDAQ still coming back down. Now we're at 14,400. Got some sellers coming in here. Crude oil might be a nice pullback, a nice buy at the 21 EMA right there. The red line, 108.11 is the price. You can see up here, made new highs, started consolidating. Red volume coming in, high volume selling. That's what I was. That's what I wanted to avoid there. That's why I didn't get in and chase. Seeing lower liquidity on here to the low side, lower below current price, could act as a support level. Too soon to tell. Bear trap on crude, low volume selling there, low volume buying. We could see the test up here. Encountering some minor resistance there. Big green volume. Hit new session high again in crude. Ooh, and then we just took off. A lot of high volume buying coming in here. Once again, missed this move again. If I get in now, I just feel like I'm chasing. But that's the name of the game. You can't make them all. You can't win them all. NASDAQ getting some sellers here. Wow, okay. So now we are at 14,375 pretty much. This did not act as support. This actually lower liquidity dragged price down. Still seeing some interest up or down below here. Had some high volume selling come in on crude just now. It's still rallying, but notable right here. Silver, new session high, 25.295. NASDAQ is looking heavy. A lot of interest down below. getting a little pop to the upside on micro NASDAQ futures. Look at that pullback on crude right now, and it all started with this high volume selling candle right there. NASDAQ still pushing a little bit to the upside there, still seeing interest down below. Now if this liquidity gets pulled, it could help slingshot price upward, so we'll just have to see what happens right here. This is kind of the area I'm watching. Crude at a 10-second double top. Let's take a short position here. I'm looking at all this lower liquidity down here. I'm liking that. Out there, profit target was triggered. Nice trade. Oh, and look at that. Look at this 10-second candle. You can see right here. Bottom got a bounce. Double bottom failed. And we continue to sell off. So far it has looked like since open it has been a bull trap. We were down all session. I'll show you right here. We were down the entire session, all Globex. We were down, came back up, broke above break even on the day at open, and now we are pulling back down. Could just be a pullback, too early to tell, but it could also be a bull trap, which would be quite interesting after the rally that we had last week. See, we had crossed above the prior session high and then rejected and have sold off since. I'm seeing a lot of interest down here. Look at that. That's a lot of interest. I would not be surprised if we continue downward with the selling that we've had, and we are getting a bounce right now. So bounce, perhaps looking for an area to sell. I'm liking it right up here. This is a pretty high, but I think the 350 level there would be perhaps an excellent entry. So much liquidity down here, so much interest. I'd really be stunned if we don't come down here. So I see us getting close to at least 14.3 down here. Ooh, there we go. Going down. Still got some more room to the downside. Wow, look at that. That's some aggressive selling right there. Still a lot of lower liquidity down below. Lower liquidity down here. I mean, high liquidity below current price. So still a lot of interest to the downside. Interesting to see. Might get a temporary bounce here. and we'll see how this liquidity down here acts as we're bouncing. If we bounce and liquidity